What's up, pumpkin heads? I'm Mike, and this is week 2 of trying to grow a 3,000-pound giant pumpkin. You're watching Moby Mike Pumpkins on YouTube. All right, we're out here in the giant pumpkin patch. What are we doing today? We started working on getting internet because, you know, I got to surf the web when I'm pumpkining. No, that's not the reason why. We are eventually going to trend the scales. So you want to see a giant pumpkin on a scale? You can. So we're just marking out where the pumpkins are going to be. See, I still got my tape out there. Marking them out. They're 15 feet from the back. They're going to waterfall back, go forward. This is actually like a really big patch for 2 pumpkins. It's probably big enough for 3. I didn't calculate the square footage, but the growing area is 40 by 43. So yeah, it's like 1,600 square, plus that includes a 5-foot walkway in the middle. So yeah, I could do 3 here if I wanted to. We're just going to do 2, and it's all going to be amended area, and if I don't feel like the plant needs to be that big, we'll just stop it. All right, we're also going to do a little amending today. I don't have much to amend, honestly. We're just going to do some micronutrients. This is a micronutrient blend from Midwest BioAg. Stuff's awesome. You got your zinc, your manganese, copper, boron. They still make this product, but it no longer has copper in it, which isn't the end of the world. Usually the copper holds pretty good in the soil. Your manganese and your boron are like always out of there. So like I'm always adding this to get those back up, and then I'm just building zinc in the soil, and eventually I think I'm gonna get to too much zinc that I might not be able to use this to kind of amend the boron and the manganese. But for now I'm still good. So I got a little bit of this left. I'm gonna put down whatever's in this bag, 10 pounds maybe, and I calculated that out earlier. That should be good. So this is probably a little less than what I calculated, but it's what I got. So we'll put that down, and then I'm going to need a little elemental sulfur. And honestly, that's it. I have enough potassium, magnesium, calcium. I have all the major nutrients, phosphorus. The only thing I wouldn't mind having a little more magnesium in there, but I'm still in range in my ratios. So, and I'm also, this is going to be weird to some people, I'm not going to put down any nitrogen this year. So there's been vetch out there, rye out there, summer cover crop out there. My organic matter is 5.5%. I'm not going to say I'm not going to feed any nitrogen. I'm not going to amend any. So when a plant's little in the hoops, it's going to get some synthetic nitrogen. It's probably going to get some synthetic nitrogen when it comes out of the hoops. My waterings are going to have some. But I'm not like, normally a guy could amend, 30 to 50 ppm nitrogen to start the season. I'm not doing that. So just basic amendments, easy amendments. Got to go get some sulfur. I may throw a 50-pound bag of dried molasses out there. They dry molasses on what they call a forage product, but they dry molasses on hay or whatever. And just throw that out there, and when that soaks in, it kind of gives the microbes something to get going on. So all this cover crop was inoculated last year, so there should be some good beneficials out there that might be a little hungry. All right, April 25th. It may seem like we're behind. We're kind of purposely doing things later this year, but it's been a really warm spring, so it seems like, man, we should have them out there. But today I think we're going to get the plastic off here. We're not necessarily going to cover them. Then we're going to get the soil heating cables in, and then I might get the big greenhouse on, and then maybe one of these, and maybe wait on the other one. These don't take too long to cover, but I'm hoping maybe we'll get them out next weekend, and they'll be just out a few days. A few days later, we'll grow them inside for 2 weeks, get them out there. So we're going to kind of get the spots prepped first, soil heating cables in, then worry about getting the greenhouses ready, get them out there. And then honestly, with the cables, they'll be in today, and we'll get them heating up. And then if we get the hoops in, they don't really only need about 3 days with the cables, and they'll be heated up. So we'll be good to go by next weekend. We just got to get after it and do it. All right, we're getting the plants set up. So I'm killing the cover crop in the area where the hoop is going to go with a little bit of flame. And then I got marked where the plant's going and then out where the cable's going. Because what I do, different than anyone else, I've not seen anyone else do this, because it maybe doesn't make sense to people, but it seems to make sense to me, is I dig in these cables here. So you can see there, that's where my plant's going. You can see I got my cables in the ditches there. Anyway, I got 100 feet of cables, and then you got a cable there and back. So you got roughly, is it 12 feet each way. So yeah, you got 25, 25, 25, 25. And then I got a little bigger area where the plant is just kind of right there. And anyway, we dig those in, throw the soil in. I don't really bust it up. I kind of take a little break once I get the soil out, and I let the clumps that I take out kind of heat up in the sun. It's a nice sunny day. So I'll go dig the other one, get that one, and then I'm going to go run to that Amish store and get me a little elemental sulfur. It's basically kind of my only amendment besides that micronutrient I showed you that I put down, and then we should be ready to get the hoops on. I kind of changed my mind. I was like, I'm not gonna cover those, whatnot. I'm gonna get my big hoop on. I'm gonna get one of those on, and I'm gonna get them out here for sure by tomorrow. And then I'm probably gonna just get the plants out here early, even though they're smaller, or at least in the one greenhouse that's automated, because I was looking back at 2018 and it seems like I put the plants out when they were like 9 days old, and that was in this patch, and I had really good success besides the end of the year, but everything was on track to do really well. So alrighty, we went to the Amish store, we got a bag of elemental sulfur that we needed, and then we couldn't control ourselves. Kids in the candy store got 2 bags of humic acid, a bag of kelp, and 2 bags of gypsum. So we'll throw those out there for a little bonus. The gypsum, I was like on the edge of like having a little too much potassium, so it wasn't too big a deal. But I was like, I'm there, so we'll throw it down. So it's cheap. Gypsum's cheap anyway. So there we go. Good stuff. That'll be the amendments for the year. So all of this plus the micronutrient blend we put down, and that's it. All right, cables are all dug in, ready to rock, you know, and I get done with this and I just think, man, I'm glad I don't have 2 more to do. And I just think of the guys that grow 4 or 6 or whatever, and there's honestly just some impressive guys and gals out there growing that put tons of effort in. And I've always said, I'm not going to beat anyone with hard work. I will work hard, but I can't work as hard as these guys. I can't grow 4 or 6, can't do it. So I'm going to have to outsmart them, which, you know, I'm working with limited resources. So I'm thinking the best I can do is we're going to give her full throttle on this hydro. You don't have to dig in soil cables on this. Just throw a tank heater in there. Boom. So if we can get this to roll pretty good. Still going to have to bury vines, which suck. But I'm hoping we can maybe prove this hybrid hydro out. See what we can do with that bad boy. All right, we're going to get the greenhouse out. This is an 8x8 that extends to an 8x16. It's got automated shutters in it. It's got an automated top vent. And we'll just throw her on the trailer, get her over to the patch, kind of walk it up on the trailer, and then it'll be an 8x8 configuration until it needs to be bigger, and then we'll make it an 8x16. Whew! Honestly, that thing's entirely too heavy for one person, but we got her. I don't have the control cabinet in there. The control cabinet weighs like 50 pounds, and the other outside wall, so it's not terrible, but it sucks. Right, Peach? All right, guys, seeds are 11 days old. It's really the first time I watered them. I watered them with a little bit of the starter fertilizer, Epsom salt, and Route 66. I did moisten the top a little bit after about like 7 days, but it was like this much water in the cup. And then today I gave them a good amount. They were getting pretty dry. I had to prop them up. I always prop them up with some cups because they want to lean backwards on that first true leaf, just to hold them up a bit. One was kind of down because it was when they get a little drier too, they get a little flexible. So we dried them out pretty good. Well, I would say we dried them out, but they were needing some water, so we got them some water. And looking at the forecast, I don't know, maybe we'll get one of them out Sunday and then maybe one of them out a little later. So we won't hold them in the house any more than 3 weeks. All right, guys, we're getting the hoops covered up. I got them pretty much prepped. I got the old plastic and lath off there, and then we just stapler on. I just use construction plastic. That's not UV rated, so you know you can only use it one season and it's done. But yeah, so then we just staple gun the lath on, cover them up. Big ones out there. I saw the vents open on it once, so it's just not quite. It's pretty cool out. It ain't quite warm enough to open the vents. It opened up and then shut, so I think we might get a pumpkin in there tomorrow on Sunday. one of these ones I'm probably going to wait since they're not automatic because this week is cold coming up. Kind of be the latest I ever put them out, but that's okay. That was kind of the plan. So run my own race. You can't be behind if you run your own race. Pretty cool in the greenhouse. I was just telling you up there, I haven't seen the vents open, but like, you know, the sun came out of the clouds. I could feel it getting warmer. Looked over, vents open, you know, and then it goes underneath the cloud again, vents close. So pretty cool, you know. So people that are like, I'm around my house all day, I can move that, but this thing literally adjusting for every time a cloud goes over. So you can't quite do that, so it just keeps it at a consistent temp and grows a lot better versus our manual ones that were up there covering. You know, they just kind of are what they are. They give you a little benefit, but doing it automated is the way to do it. This one's a super complex system. I might do something a little different with one of the other ones, just do the same thing, but like way cheaper, way simpler, because this thing is kind of a bit much, but it's awesome. Alrighty, we got the greenhouses covered up. We'll go put them in position, let them start heating the soil up. All right, guys, we are inside the greenhouse. I got one more test to do before I put the plant here, and that is to make sure that this works on battery backup. So right now I got it unplugged. It's running on battery. I'm going to stick the probe in some hot water, and then it's programmed that if it's running on battery, just full opens vents. We were going to do it where it modulates the vents, but then eventually if the battery dies and then the vents are closed, it could heat up. So anyway, I was getting like a battery failure when I tried this the other day, so I charged the batteries, and let's see if it works. Hot water. Yep, then the vents open, top vents opening, back vent open. So all the vents opened, and everything's running on 24 volts. So if we ever lose power, the plants are not going to die. Perfect. We can plant the pumpkin today. All right, back to the greenhouse there. I kind of misspoke because I said, hey, when it goes on battery, the vent's fully open. Not entirely true. When it loses power, it doesn't know that it's on battery because there's no load on the system. So really the first time that it just tries to adjust the vents, then there'll be enough load on the system where it goes, oh, hey, I'm on battery, and then I'll fully just open them, and then I'll start adjusting them back. You can see now the top vent closed, and the side ones are starting to close. It reads every 5 minutes, and then adjusts the vent, so they'll eventually just adjust down here every 5 minutes. So that's that, and then I was going to get my grow light ready, and it doesn't work. You can hear the fans running, and it looks like this whole thing was, I pulled it out of the patch, it was working, but I mean, I'm sure I was sucking moisture through it all last year when I was using it, and it worked when I stopped, but it don't work anymore. It was free, not a big deal. We'll have to get another one. For sure I want to run one grow light in the big one. If I'm going to run another one in the other one, I might have to buy one. But this is, well, like I said, this was free, but I think I would just replace it with some cheap Chinese light for a few bucks, and we'll try that out. Alright, we're just working on getting all the garden hoses out. We need to clean the hydro tote, so we need to get water over there, because once we clean it, we got to refill it. I just laid all my hoses out this winter and just left them outside, never put them away. So it seems to be easier because now I can use the same hose going the right way. The black ones that are for like the sprinklers on the pumpkin, not going to worry about those quite yet because it's going to be hand watering for at least 3 to 4 weeks yet. And then after that, we'll get them in position before then, but we won't really need them for about a month yet. So that's what we're working on right now. All right, we're getting the hydro ready. We had a big drop off there. If you remember from earlier, I put some rocks and stuff there. It's got a bucket full of dirt. My greenhouse is already broken, but we'll probably have to set it on there to see where I need to grade this out a little bit. And then we are filling the tote with water right now. I sanitized this tote. I'll have to pump this one out, clean it, and then we can put this water in it. Probably tomorrow. I want to let this warm up with the sun. I can probably warm it up 15-20 degrees with the sun. And then we'll go into the tote with the heater. So yeah, hopefully we'll be in the hydro by the end of the week. So, all right, it is Sunday, May 3rd. The plants are 2 weeks old. We got a 544 Schmidt. We got 2 Volkmans there. We got another 544 Schmidt. We got the Haste. and another 544. The haste is kind of small. I don't know what to think about it. I don't love it. Not sure that I'm going to plant it, but that'll wrap up this week, and I'm going to plant one of these as soon as I get done editing this video for this week, so we'll start there next week.